Macmillan Audio presents Darkhearts by James L. Sutter. Read for you by Ramon de Ocampo. One. It's hard to know what to say at a friend's funeral. It's even harder to know what to say at an enemy's. So what do you say when it's both? I chose the coward's way out and said nothing. When the rabbi finished his eulogy and called for stories from the mourners, I stayed silent. Honestly, it would probably have been the right choice even if I hadn't been chicken. Save for a few texts, I hadn't spoken with Elijah in over 2 years. Who was I to him anymore? It wasn't like there was a dearth of speakers. There were plenty of people who wanted to talk. Family, friends, even a couple other celebrities. They said the sorts of things you always say when a kid dies. He was so bright, so talented, so full of potential. Except in Eli's case, it was actually true. He wasn't just poised to do great things. He'd done them, and had the Grammys to prove it. Chance waited until last, of course. Always the showman, never wanting to risk being upstaged even at his best friend's funeral. He told a story about Eli getting so distracted writing a new song that he accidentally locked himself out of his hotel room in just his underwear. Security caught him trying to climb up to his own balcony, thinking he was some sort of crazed stalker. Everyone laughed through their tears. Big, sobbing gasps of relief. It was the perfect ending note. But of course it was. Everything about Chance Kane was perfect, from the slim black suit to the asymmetrical flop of his straight black hair. It was what made him America's favorite asshole. The rest of the service was a blur. I kept my distance from most of it, not wanting to intrude. At the cemetery, I joined the other mourners in forming a ring around the family, trying to shield them from the paparazzi waiting like vultures, giant camera lenses balanced on headstones. Then, it was back to Eli's parents' house for the Shiva visit, where I took off my shoes and rinsed my hands with a pitcher of water outside the door. If the temple had been awkward, the house itself was stifling. Eli's parents and sister shook my hand, but their eyes were far away. All the mirrors were covered with black cloth, which I knew was another Jewish tradition, but just reminded me of the whole Darkhearts vampire shtick. Nobody really spoke, other than brief murmurs of sympathy and muffled tears. When standing around in their living room got too uncomfortable, I found myself drifting away without really intending to. Nobody noticed as I wandered past the bathroom and down the stairs, retracing the route that had once been second nature. The furniture in the rec room was right where it had always been, minus only the black bulk of the PA speakers on their spindly stick stands. The lights were off, and the afternoon sun coming through the big picture window was so achingly familiar that it stabbed straight through me, pinning me to the bottom of the stairs. Weird, huh? I turned to find Chance tucked into the corner of the old couch, sprawled with his tailored jacket unbuttoned and legs outstretched. Even with eyes red from crying, he looked like a cologne ad. Whereas I looked like exactly what I was. A 17-year-old acneed ogre wearing his dad's suit. At some point in the last 2 years, Chance had gotten a tattoo. A tiny silhouette of a crow in flight, just below and outside his right eye. Because of course he had. He was holding a vape pen, but the lack of candy floss stink said he knew better than to use it in here. He waved it vaguely at the room. It's all the same. He looked up at the ceiling, where the footsteps of mourners clumped and dragged. Up there, outside, everything's different. But in here, it's like we're still 14. I didn't want to have this conversation. Didn't want to have any conversation with him, but my mouth had other ideas. Almost, I said. He raised a professionally groomed eyebrow. I pointed past him. They fixed the drywall. Oh, shit.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?